Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Ram, and welcome all of you all for our Wednesday evening Ram Katha. So, we are in the second chapter, second sarga of the first Balkand of Ramayana. And we discussed last week how the hunter killed the male bird out of the pair who were enjoying sensual pleasure in front of Valmiki. And Valmiki was very angry and he cursed him with a nice poetic verse. And with that curse, he was wondering how come he gave this curse. He was something which he was not able to digest, and why this thing happened in front of him. He was very confused, and he and his shishya Bharadwaj Muni, after finishing the bath at Tamasa River, started going back towards his ashram. So we resume from that point. We can resume the discussion. So we will be starting from verse number 1.2.21. 22. You have completed 21, we'll start with 22. When the righteous sage Valmiki, along with the disciples, entered his hermitage, having been seated, they had their routine spiritual talks, but Valmiki's mind was still meditating on what he had composed. Valmiki Muni was still thinking, मैंने क्या कंपोज किया, मैंने क्या लिखा, मैंने क्यों लिखा ऐसा, क्यों ऐसा लॉर्ड लिखा, सॉरी बोला, मैंने क्यों ऐसा बोला. कि ऋषि का मुख से कभी भी श्राप निकलता नहीं इतना आसानी से, और श्राप के पीछे भी कोई ना कोई वजह होगा. एंड ही वाज वंडरिंग व्हाई डिड आई गिव, उसके पीछे कारण क्या था, किस कारण से मैंने वो श्राप दिया. जस्ट देन, बहुत अच्छा चीज, जब ये चीज के बारे में सोच रहे थे, just then great effulgent four-headed creator Brahma himself arrived to see Valmiki, the best amongst the sages. Jagma tato Brahma lokakritartha swayam prabhu chaturmukho mahatejaha drishtum tam munipunggavam. Very important. Each word is very important. This effulgent four-headed Brahma arrived to see sage Valmiki, who is the best among the sages. इन्होंने बुलाया था ब्रह्मा जी को. Was he thinking of calling? Was thinking of consulting? Automatically Brahma ji appeared and he was wanted to see Valmiki. That's the greatness. That's what makes this a special incident. Brahma ji coming to search Valmiki, and then he's saying, oh, what he's going to say is very good, very, very important. Valmiki tatra tvam drishtva sahasa uthaya vagyatha. Very important. No? This is a very important. Vagyatha. Prananjali prayato bhutva tatastu param vimsitaha. That is there are two words which we have to discuss in this shloka. Sage Valmiki, the pious and endeavorous sage, who had controlled in speech, on seeing Brahma, immediately got up and stood with his hands folded in gratitude. He became extremely astonished on seeing Brahma. So there are two things. First and foremost, what is Valmiki referred here in as Vakyatha? What is the meaning of Vakyatha? One who is controlled in speech. And why is there so speciality about that? Controlled in speech. What makes that unique with respect to Brahmaji? With respect to Valmiki. Valmiki is referred to as Vakyatha. Please understand, a person who has control over his speech, he only can progress in life, in this, that too, especially in the spiritual life. Both in the material and spiritual life, one needs to have a controlled tongue, but moreover in the spiritual world, it is very important. जब तक व्यक्ति अपने बोलने के ऊपर थोड़ा कंट्रोल नहीं करेगा, भक्ति के दुनिया में आगे नहीं जा सकता. The two things which refers here, when we speak, what do we speak? Generally, people speak two things. Either they praise themselves or they speak ill of others. This is the general trend in which, you can see people speaking. Either they will keep praising about themselves. Who really praises God? Who really talks about the magnanimity of God? Nobody speaks. Everyone speaks about themselves. मैं ऐसा किया, मैंने किया, मैं वही चालू रहे. और what do you say, talking ill about others. So a person who is smart, why did Brahmaji choose to come before Valmiki? Why Valmiki was chosen to write this great Grantha? That itself shows that this main quality one should have. Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodh Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udar Upastha Vegam, Ketanyo Vishyadera, Sarma Apimam, Prityam Shishyat. Clearly says, the sloka clearly says, Vacho Vegam, one who can control the urge of speaking, the urge of the tongue. There are two meaning here. One who can control the urge for speaking, the urge for sense satisfying your tongue. आधी जिंदगी हम लोग क्या खाएं, what to eat next. It's a national disaster question, that in the house, in everyone's house. रात को क्या खाना? I think every Mataji she will agree. And then रात को खाना खाने के बाद कल सुबह क्या खाना? That's a national disaster question in every household in India. So what do we understand from this? Okay, our focus is to gratify the so vacho vegam, manasa krodha vegam, the urges of the mind. See, these are all the urges. You go and sit next to a person, to an unknown person, especially while traveling and all, totally an unknown person. But your urge to speak. Nowadays, people have got mobile, so they speak on the mobile. Otherwise, earlier days, they used to speak with the neighbor. पड़ोसी जो बाजू में बैठा था उससे बात करते थे. बट आजकल अर्ज क्या हो गया, ठीक है फोन चालू है, एंड फोन में भी दो चीज, मैंने बोला था, वो ऐसा है, only two things. मैंने बोला था, मतलब मैं I'm right, मैं and then वो ऐसा है, he is useless, he is foolish. The only two things in which we shuttle. That is why we are not having, the brain is not having time, or rather the mind doesn't get time to think about God, because we are always speaking about ourselves or ill about others. Better we control our tongue. And secondly, he was standing with gratitude, but with extreme astonishment. Param Vishmitaha. What is this thing? He was extremely surprised. Kahan se Brahma ji aa gaye? And he's very clearly mentioning Chaturmukha, four-headed Brahma had come. Very clearly mentioned. That's why in the explanation is written, the word controlled speech is very important quality for being a spiritual teacher or a guru who can make disciples. The sage Valmiki, all the qualities of being a spiritual guru. He is described as controlled in speech. After speaking a spontaneous verse that came out of anger and grief, he's pondering over it and wonder how such words came out from his mouth. Mataji, mute everything. And Mother, I request you to keep your eyes open, and whenever you see anyone unmuted, please mute. So, another quality which is highlighted over here is how many people, after speaking, think about it. What have we spoken? That what makes Valmiki Muni great and different. उन्होंने बोलने के बाद वो सोच रहे थे, मेरे मुंह से ऐसा क्यों, कैसे वाक्य नहीं? How did I speak these words? And what was the need for me to speak these words? And मैंने क्यों निकाला? बस वही स्मरण. And mind you, he is thinking about that same incident sitting right in front of Brahmaji. That conscious he was with respect to what to speak. And he was wondering, how come I never speak such things? First and foremost, I am a person of controlled speech. How did I speak? Ponder over it and wonder how such words came out of his mouth. To mitigate this grief of sage Valmiki and to explain the purpose behind those words, Brahma himself had appeared. So, ye dukh dur karne ke liye, one of the reasons why Brahma ji appeared, to clear off his this thought, why did I speak? मैंने क्यों बात किया ऐसा? Brahma had appeared. Brahma was going to advise sage Valmiki to compose the Adi Kavya Ramayan in the same poetic manner that he had uttered the words. So he's going to talk about it. with proper salutations and obeisances. Sage Valmiki worshipped Brahma. He offered Brahma water for washing his feet and also for quenching his thirst. Seating himself on a high seat, as per the tradition and custom, Brahma inquired about the well being of sage Valmiki. Very, very important. This is how one should welcome a spiritual person. Pujayamas Tam Devam, Padya, Argya, Asana, Vandinahe. What are the things offered? Padya, Argya, Asana. When any great spiritually elated person comes, this should be the process. Pranamyam viditam. It should be as per vidhi, as per the rules. हमारे मनमुख नहीं होना चाहिए. प्रणाम्य विधिवत चयनम पृष्ठवा त्वम अनामयम अव्ययम पृष्ठस्तु अनामयम अव्ययम. So inquired about his well-being. सीधा आते महाराज मेरे बेटे का शादी नहीं हो रहा है, कुछ बार रास्ता बताओ. महाराज जी आप मेरे को कुछ हाथ हाथ देख के बताओ, मेरा काम नहीं हो रहा है, मेरा बिजनेस नहीं हो रहा है, मेरा काम नहीं बढ़ रहा है, तो मैं क्या करूं. So this is not an first and foremost, this question should not be asked to a spiritual master. First and foremost, when he comes, even spiritual questions, महाराज जी आप बताइए मेरे को वो भागवतम का वो स्कंद में that sarga, what does this mean, what is the understanding of this. No, wait, first give them padya, argya, then asan, then stand you pay your obeisances, and then ask for his well-being. And then this is what Valmiki is trying to teach us. Every shastra, the entire purpose of the shastra is to teach us how to live a life. I told you last lecture itself. Lord has come first as Rama and lived a life and given us an example. And then when he came as Krishna, the same Lord came as Krishna. The Dwapar Yuga, what did he advise? He dictated the entire Bhagavad Gita. And if you see the entire Bhagavad Gita, it is nothing but how Ramchandraji lived in his earlier Yuga. That is, when Lord had come in the earlier Yuga, he has stayed the same way. उसी तरीके से रहे वो, जिस तरीके से भगवान भगवद गीता में बोले थे, उसी तरह से अपना जीवन बिताया. ये बड़ी बात है. That's why Lord is super great. पहले उन्होंने खुद रहे उस शास्त्र के प्रमाण के हिसाब से, और फिर वो शास्त्र का प्रचार किया. ऐसा नहीं कि पहले बोल दिया. कई लोग प्रचार करते हैं ना, अरे आप लोगों को ऐसा रहना चाहिए, वैसा नहीं. खुद वैसे नहीं रहते, खुद उन नियमों का पालन नहीं करते हैं. But what makes Lord special? Lord first stayed as per the rules of the Shastra, that is, as per the scriptural rules, he lived. And then what did he do? He gave the Bhagavad Gita, which is nothing but the same thing by which Lord Ramchandra stayed. That's why you will see during the Ramayana, we will be referring to n number of verses. We have not still not entered into the Ramayana. It's just in the prelude still, I would say. Only after the 4th chapter we enter Ramayana, actually full-fledged. So point is, that time we will see a lot of shlokas from the Bhagavad Gita will be referred over here. Why? Because that is how Lord Ramchandra Lord Krishna has dictated, and he himself has lived as Lord Rama in the earlier Yuga. So in India, whenever there is a satsang, it's very important. This is another important point which has to be highlighted or people should learn. In India, whenever there is satsang or a spiritual discourse, the speaker is made to sit on a highly elevated seat. It is said that Acharya, it is said by Acharyas that if the listener sits on a higher seat than the speaker, then he incurs sin. Please understand, there is a rule. जब सुनने वाला व्यक्ति, जो वक्ता है, the speaker, उनके ऊपर के लेवल पे बैठता है, higher, raising higher, you will see that again I have described that in detail when Lord Ramchandra ji listens to the Ramayana sung by Lava and Kusha. And that time I have detailed and explained how it is sinful and how even Hanumanji had to bear the brunt of it for sitting on the flag of the Ratha of Arjuna and listening to the Bhagavad Gita. That was wrong, right? As a listener, he should sit down. Here, Krishna was sitting down, and of course, Arjuna was falling at he had fallen at his feet, rather sitting at his feet and taking the knowledge. But Hanuman was listening to the same Gita sitting up, and for which he had to pay a price. I'll discuss that in detail, and when I will be discussing the that part, which will come after the 5th or 6th chapter, where Lava and Kusha will be discussing or will be singing the Ramayana, and Ramchandraji himself will be listening, sitting on the throne, and slowly he will come down and sit at a seat lower than what Lava and Kusha are sitting and singing. So the point here is one who sits on an elevated seat, वक्ता से ऊपर ऊंचे आसन पे अगर कोई बैठता है और सुनता है तो उसको पाप लगता है, और सेम स्तर पे अगर सेम हाइट पे बैठ के सुनेगा तो उसके जितने भी पुण्य है ना वो नष्ट. He loses all his pious merits if he sits in the same level to listen to the satsang or katha. He has to, the listener has to sit at a lower, at a lower posture or lower place compared to the seat given to the speaker. Then the flow of knowledge, it's like water flows from higher level to a lower level. Similarly, knowledge will also flow from higher level to lower level, from the speaker's mouth to the listener's heart. So there's a very important principle of how one should listen to satsang, or how one should listen to elders when they speak, especially spiritual topics. Ata upvashya Brahma Bhagavan asane. So just then Brahma, who was seated and highly worshipped by sage Valmiki, directed him to sit. After praising or inquiring about the well-being of Brahmaji, Brahmaji told, "Okay, Valmiki, you go and sit. Take your seat." So immediately to sit. The grandson of the universe accepted the seat offered by sage Valmiki and also asked the sage to be seated. Even though sitting before Brahma, sage Valmiki was absorbed in thinking about that event. बस अभी भी उनके दिमाग में एक ही फोकस था, ये श्लोक कैसे मैंने बोल दिया, एक श्राप मैंने कैसे दे दिया, how did it occurs in the form of a nice poem and how did it come? It's not the first time a hunter has hunted anyone, but it has pinched me. Why? Sage Valmiki was thinking about how that sinful hunter giving pain to that with an intent of capturing them, killing both the killed both sweet-voiced birds without any reason. How come he killed both this without any reasons? This only shows another highlight that sage Valmiki was soft. He was not hard-hearted. He was filled with compassion for the two birds who were killed in front of him. Engrossed in grief and agony, sage Valmiki repeatedly recited that shloka in his mind. बार बार वही श्लोका. कहाँ बैठे हैं? ब्रह्मा जी के सामने. Mind you, the second creator of the world, and उसके सामने बैठ के वो वही बात का चिंतन कर रहे हैं. ताम उवाच ततो ब्रह्मा प्रहसा मुनिपुंगवम शोक एव त्वया बद्धो न अत्र कव्य विचारिणानान. Says Brahmaji is telling. First is Prahasa Muni Pungavam. Prahasa means smilingly, very brightly, smilingly. He said, there is no need. Shok eva Tvaya Baddho. Tvaya Baddho means you compiled. Na atra karya vicharena. You don't have to think that much. There is no need to think much about the shloka that was composed by you. जो आपने बद्ध किया, जो आपने कंपोज किया, उसके बारे में ज्यादा मत सोच. Then he is saying, मच्छंदात एव ते ब्राह्मण sorry, प्रवर्तेत अयम सरस्वती रामस्य चरितं स्वयं कुरु त्वाम ऋषि सताम. He's saying, O Brahman is referring to Valmiki Rishi. By my desire, only this speech, this shloka originated. That's why the word Saraswati refers to speech also. Says, my desire only, this speech originated. O eminent sage, so you compose the entire legend of Lord Rama. Ramasya charitram swayam kuru vam rishi satam. He's saying, you best of the rishis, oh bhai, you are a very powerful rishi. Ramasya charitram sarvam, entire Ramacharitram kuru. Kuru means you compose, you write. So when he has already given him for the first instruction, what was the first instruction Brahma is telling? First and foremost, don't think that much about the shloka. Okay? Because that what you composed, you don't feel that I maine aisa compose kyun kiya. Don't have any lamentation for that. That is the first instruction. Second instruction, okay, that came because of my desire. I desired. Machanda, saying my desire. Evate Brahman. Pravritte ayam Saraswati. Pravritte means it has originated by your tongue, by your speech. It is only because of me. Don't consider it as because of you. And then he is saying is, now write the entire Brahma. Then the next, very important. Again, please remind this sloka is also important. Dharmatmano gunavato loko ramasya dhimataha वृत्तम कथाया धीरस्य यथा ते नारद श्रुताम. Very important. Each word is important. Dharmatmano, righteous one. Gunavato, virtuous. Loke, world. Ramasya, of Rama, the wise. Dhimataha, vrittam, history. Kathasya, narrate. Narrate the entire history. Dhirasya, patient one. Yatha te narada shrutam. Very important is yatha te narada shrutam. We will discuss at this a little large. O sage, kindly narrate as you heard it from Devarishi Narada, the legend of Lord Rama, who is in this world the most righteous, virtuous, patient, and the wise. Now, already in the earlier shloka, he has already told, oh, eminent sage, it is because of me. You got this, you could speak this, so don't think much about it. And what you got to do is you have got to compose. Then he is giving a very specific instruction. Dharmatmano gunavato lokaramasya dhimataha. Then vrittam katha dhirasya yathate narad shrutam. What you have as it is heard from Narada, glorify that. Put pen down that what you have heard from Narada. Means what? One should never concoct knowledge. Knowledge should be taken from a proper discipling or a proper authority in the spiritual field. The spiritual field one does not concoct. No, we have got research. What is research? Even the word research means already which is search, you are researching it. But still we consider it as to be a new find. कुछ नया चीज हमने ढूंढ लिया है. I just read the explanation before I give the entire explanation. It's a big explanation. Generally, it is seen that people make their interpretation and mental concoction while interpreting the scriptures. Here, Brahma is trying to teach sage Valmiki that the Shastra and their interpretation should be repeated the same way as given by the Acharya. So, who was the Acharya for Valmiki? The first Acharya was, or rather, the only Acharya was Narad Muni. Narad Muni has given him the whole story, or rather, the whole Katha. Here, Brahma is just giving him instruction to write it. Definitely, in this chapter again, the same, something like more Ramayana will be repeated. Nevertheless, he is asking him to write the same way as given by the acharyas. One should not add our thinking and distort the original value about it. You know, very tragically in modern days, we see many people writing commentaries on Gita, Bhagavatam, Ramayan, and so many scriptures. And उसमें क्या लिखते हैं? Their own nonsense philosophy. बेवकूफ की तरह कुछ भी लिखते हैं, कुछ भी बोलते हैं, जिसका कोई शास्त्र से संबंध ही नहीं. कोई बोलते हैं हाँ, you read this shloka and you understand you are one with God, you are entering into the realm of God. So much of word jugglery. I don't know Hindi में क्या बोलते हैं word jugglery को, but it's a real tragedy that in today's date there is a lot of word jugglery. And this word jugglery is very dangerous. It captivates the mind of the foolish, or rather who was less intelligent. They think, oh wow, what beautiful words is he speaking. But is he talking about God? Or is it really connecting you to God? One has to understand that. That is why the most important thing is one should learn the Ramayana, the Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavatam from a bona fide spiritual source. नहीं तो आपको कुछ भी भगवत गीता के नाम पे, भागवतम के नाम पे, जैसे आजकल योगा में चल रहा है ना, योगा फॉर बेटर सेक्स, योगा, ऑफिस योगा, चेयर योगा, क्या क्या योगा चल रहा है. और ये सब क्या सही है? एवरीथिंग इज नॉनसेंस. योगा फॉर वेल्थ, योगा फॉर बिजनेस डेवलपमेंट क्यों हो रहा है? ये लोग हैं, segment of people are there who want to listen to this nonsense, or ready to read this nonsense, but they will not take up their authenticated Ramayana or Mahabharata. And the reason also I'll tell you later why this things happen. One should not add our thinking and distort the original value of it. There are so much so-called philosophers and scholars who have given their interpretation on Ramayana and Bhagavad Gita. But the problem is they have not heard or studied the scripture under an authorized guru. Hence, those interpretations lose their actual significance. For example, if a doctor starts giving interpretations on engineering topics, claiming himself to be an intelligent person, will it justify? It's very important. Log aksar, it's a simple way to understand this. Many times one may claim to be an expert in Sanskrit language and may think himself capable of giving commentaries on Itihasas and Shastra, but they should understand that just by knowing a language, one does not have an in-depth understanding of the subject. No, these are two things. First and foremost, आजकल शास्त्र में कौन कमेंट्रीज दे रहा है, कौन अपना व्याख्या दे रहा है? वो व्यक्ति दे रहा है जो खुद उसको कभी पढ़ा नहीं ढंग से या किसी गुरु से पढ़ा नहीं. And the higher point is, it's like, I'm an educated person, I'm a doctor, I'm an engineer. Fine, you are an engineer, but then stick to your field. Why do you try to interpret the Shastra? Whenever I used to ask someone, sir, have you read the Bhagavad Gita? Have you read it? Acha, you understood? Yes, kuch bhi nahi, it's very simple. Can be applied very easily. Teaching for the past 12 years, I have never understood it properly. How did you understand? I asked. No, it's very easy. My teacher still has learned only 10% of it. My teacher has learned only 10%. So imagine how much I must be doing and how much he must have learned. So that's the tragedy. लोग अक्सर ये सोचते हैं कि भाई हर चीज के पीछे एक गुरु होना जरूरी होता है. एक चोर को भी चोरी करने के लिए गुरु की जरूरत पड़ती है, सीखने के लिए कि कैसे चोरी करना है. Mataji is required to either refer to a YouTube or ask some senior lady or an expert lady on how to cook. So what to talk about Shastra? How can one interpret Shastra without even having a guru? Automatically people start talking obnoxious and nonsense things about it. Secondly, many people come and tell me, sir, I have studied Sanskrit up to my MA level. Very good. But the same rule doesn't apply to devotional books. For example, you may be a good expert in speaking English and reading and writing in English. So if I just give you a book on CA or book on medical science, can you become a doctor or a CA? By knowing a language, one doesn't become an expert in any subject. He needs to train himself, do some austerities, and then only understand the subject matter. So this is what is advice not given by me. This advice is given by Brahma ji to, as you heard from Narad Muni, वैसे लिखना, अपना बीच का मसाला मत डालना. Don't add your own concoctions or your understandings in that. So this message is not only for Narad Muni, it is for us who are reading the Valmiki Ramayan, that we should also follow what the Acharyas interpreted. All the interpretations which I have given in this book of mine have only through Acharyas, are not my own mental concoction or interpretations. And that's very important. An important understanding for one to progress in devotion. And how come these acharyas are so special? Why their commentaries are correct? Because they were given their whole lifetime in devotion. We go to south, especially in South India and near Kumbakonam and all those places, there are places for the alvars. Alvars are the great exalted devotees, 12 alvars. And there are places where alvars have been shown the various leela by Lord himself. Whichever form, like Periyalvar, there's one called the Periyalvar, one of the senior alvars. So he always loves, what do you say, Krishna as Yashoda Maya. So he's in that bhava. He treats Krishna as Yashoda Maya. And he gives blessings to Krishna. And Krishna also takes blessings from him. And he will show leelas, like as if he's eating makhan and dancing in front of him as a small kid. The point is, those alvars, they have had a personal interaction with either with celestial beings, like the great Saptarishis and all those, Narad Muni and all those people, or with respect to the Lord himself. The Lord himself has given, shown us presence in front of them and shown them the Leela. There is a place, very beautiful place near Kumbakonam, where the entire Gajendra Moksha was shown to the alvars. I'm just forgetting the exact name and alvar who was there. But what I mean to say is, it's an enchanting way in which the acharyas have given us the right interpretation, which we should accept and follow that as a guideline for progressing in devotion. We should not add our own conclusions. So knowing a language, being an educated and smart person doesn't give you a license, doesn't permit you to say anything or write anything or comment anything on the Shastra, which is not basically our subject matter. Let the acharyas, let the alvars, let the gurus, let them decide what is right and what is wrong. Let us not become. Then that is why we are coming to, with respect to a lot of controversial topics. A number of people come up and they say, "Hey, Sita, pregnant lady ko chhod diya tha." Bhai, have you read the Ramayana? Without reading the Ramayana, why are you making all this concoction? Even if you have read, you have not read an authorized version. अरे वाली को छुप के मारा था उन्होंने, क्या सही किया था, रामचंद्र जी ने वाली को छुप के मारा. अरे क्यों छुप के मारा? वही छुप के मारने से रामचंद्र जी डर रहे थे? Immediately, Ramchandra ji was afraid that, Vali had a var. Actually, not a var, he had a chain. And वो chain अगर पहन लेता ना, तो सामने वाले का half the strength of the opponent comes to him. But this rule cannot apply to God. Why? We all know this shloka. Om Purnamada Purnamadam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. What does this mean? Lord is complete, and whatever comes out of him is complete, and what remains is also complete. A simple maths is 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. But in Lord's case, it is 2 minus 1 is 2. 2 minus 100 is also 2. 2 minus 1000 is also 2. You do any multiplication, any subtraction, the principle remains the same. I don't know whether I mentioned earlier, but this is a very important secret which people should know. Ramchandraji hid behind and killed Vali because this is what the Acharya say. Mind you, why this is very important is the Acharya saying, I am saying this. Acharya say, he had lost the right. Vali had lost the right to surrender. Ramchandraji was afraid. If I go and kill him from the front, he might fall at my feet and surrender himself, and I might have to save him. But he has done such a wrong act of taking away, snatching away his brother's wife just because of his misunderstanding and pushing him out of the kingdom and troubling him. He has lost the right of getting even surrender from my side. So that is the reason why Ramchandraji killed Bali hidingly. He could have hit him in front also. There was no problem. Ram, otherwise the definition of God would have been zero. If people say, no, if Bali had come in front of Rama, he would have got half the energy. He would have got half. But he is Sampurna. He is all in all. So he would have known. So this is an important principle we have to inculcate. Never listen to non-sampradaya or non-bona fide speakers. Their talks may look very flowery, very effective, and very sensational also, but it is not correct. It is not justified. So never refrain from listening to non-sampradaya people. Refrain from reading such scriptures which are not written by a proper bona fide person. Last but not the least, we should understand the itihasas through the Acharya's commentaries only. They are the only one who can give the correct understanding, and at least refrain from concocting our own bunch of knowledge. Then he gives the next instruction, very, very important instruction. This is the last verse we take, and then we stop. Rahasyam cha prakasham cha yad vritnam tasya dhimataha. Two words, very important. Rahasyam cha prakasham cha. That which is unknown and that which is revealed or known. Ramasya saha saumitre. Saumitre means Lakshmana. Ramasya saha saumitre Rakshasanam cha sarvasaha. Vaideshcha api yad vrittam prakasham yadiva raha tat chapi viditvam sarvam tat cha api aviditvam sarvam viditvam te bhavishyati. Very important. See, write about all the incidents which are revealed or yet to be revealed about the wise Lord Rama, along with Lakshmana and the demons and everything else. Also write everything about the unknown and unknown incidents that has happened with Sita Mata. Those incidents which are yet to going to be happen in the future will also be known to you by Sita. That is why I said, Yatchapi aviditam sarvam viditvam. Aviditvam means unknown. Viditvam means vidhi means to know. ते भविष्यति which is going to happen. Now अभी तक काफी चीजें जो है वो फ्यूचर में होने वाली है, अभी तक हुआ नहीं है, वो भी तुमको पता चल जाए. Okay, I'll stop there because there's the next beautiful verse. The next verse is very, very nice. Okay, we can take. We'll still take in 5 minutes. We'll take. So write about all the incidents which have been revealed to you. Now, how many incidents have been revealed to him? Few have been revealed to him by Narad Muni. कुछ बताया. He completed the entire Mool Ramayana in 100 shlokas. अभी काफी बाकी. We are going to read 24,000 shlokas in which the Ramayana is going to get complete. So in 100 shlokas, definitely Narad Muni has not revealed him everything. Yet to be revealed. That is going to come by mercy of. That is why he is saying, by mercy it will come to you. वो ज्ञान भी आएगा आपको, जो आपको आपने सुना है, जो आपको नहीं सुना है. और किसके बारे में लिखना है? रामा के बारे में लिखना है, लक्ष्मण, उसका भाई लक्ष्मण के बारे में, सौमित्र के बारे में लिखना है. And then last but not the least about Sita Maiya, all the incidents which happened to Sita Maiya. And then he is saying what is going to happen in the future. That also will be revealed to you. Don't worry. That is what is called as Atmagyan. Many cases we have seen and we have understood that Lord from within the heart gives this knowledge, because all the knowledge is held with Lord. Many people, they learn the Vedas very easily. How? The Lord inside, sitting in their heart, reveals it to them. Na te vak anartham, anartha, kavye kachit atra bhavishyati. Kuru Ramakatham punyam shlokabaddham manoramam. There's two lines. First two lines are having a different understanding, and second two lines are having a different understanding. Nate vag anartha. Vak means words. Those words will not go anartha. Anartha means it will not go as waste. And compose every word later. What kachit atra bhavishyati, जो भी हुआ है, होने वाला है, both you compose. That's why I write the sacred and delightful legend of Rama composed in verses, in shlokas, and not a single word from your composition will prove false. The big question may be asked over here. Earlier verse, Brahma is telling prakasham cha aprakasham cha. What is known to you, what is not to you, that is also being discussed over here. You write, compose that. Now Valmiki may ask a question. Bhai, मैंने लिख दिया Ramchandra ji is going to the forest and he will meet Sugriva. And what if Sugriva doesn't meet him? What if Hanuman doesn't meet him? Or anything goes wrong? Then what will happen? How will we understand? That is the reason why this sloka is mentioned by Brahma ji. Nate, never will those words, Nate vak anartha, atra, Nate vak anartha, काव्य कश्चित. कश्चित मतलब एक भी शब्द उसका गलत नहीं होगा. It will be perfect as per the what you have mentioned or what you have recited, उसी हिसाब से. अत्र भविष्यति कुरु राम कथा पुण्यम श्लोकबद्धम मनोरमम. It will be a very nice, delightful katha of Ramchandra ji's katha is delightful. So please compose it, and not a one word of it will go wrong. But Brahmaji told Valmiki to compose the legend, with the events which are yet to happen. Sage Valmiki could have doubted that if the incidents or the leelas did not happen and the Lord did some other leela, then this composition would become faulty. So to remove the doubts of Sage Valmiki, Brahma in this verse assured him to compose in shlokas the entire Ramayana without fear, as none of his words would prove false. This is that is the Lord would do all the activities that Sage Valmiki mentioned in his composition. So imagine, हम लोग ने सुना है भगवान भक्त के अधीन होते हैं, बट इतने कि भाई जैसे उन्होंने बोला उस हिसाब से he is going to act. Not a single word he is going to deviate from what has been written in the Shastra by and the Itihas by Sage Valmiki. Okay, so then the very famous shloka is that Yavasayati Giriya Saritasya Maitle Tavad Ramakatha Lokeshu Pracharishyasi. As long as mountains, rivers exist on this earth, Till then, this narration of Ramayana will also prevail in this world. That is also a benediction given to sage Valmiki. क्या दिया है benediction? जब तक इस धरती में पहाड़ रहेंगे, नदियां बहेगी, और जब तक ये धरती रहे, सरितस्य महितले, इस धरती पे ये सब रहेगा. Till then, the narration, तावद राम कथा लोकेशु प्रचर्ष्यसि, will prevail, will expand. तब तक रामायण रहेगा. भले ही कुछ लोग पूछ सकते हैं राम का जन्म कब, सबूत क्या है, राम अयोध्या में जन्म हुए थे, नहीं हुए थे, पूछते रहते हैं, कुछ ना कुछ लोग पूछते रहते हैं. बट you have to understand that this is a benediction given by Brahma ji. So at no time in this world will there be a stoppage of Ramayana. Ramayana will be there as long as this world exists. Many people ask me, the way Kali Yuga is going, the Brahminical cultures are going, Brahmanas are also behaving like Shudras, or, not in a Brahminical way. Very soon everything will get wiped off. If that would happen, then Bhagavatam would go wrong. What is mentioned in Bhagavatam? Bhagavatam में क्या लिखा गया? बिहार के गांव में, I forgot the name, एक ब्राह्मण के घर पे कली जन्म लेने वाले, right?
विष्णु यश. विष्णु यश.
विष्णु यश.
संबल गांव.
हाँ, संबल गांव में, बिहार में, ये संबल गांव में, तो ब्राह्मण के घर पे जन्म लेने वाला. तो व्हाट डज दिस मीन? ब्राह्मण तभी भी रहेगा. किस कब रहेगा? When it will be at the peak of its, Kali Yuga will be at its peak. At that time also, the seed of Brahminical culture will not get eliminated at any time. Because even after Kali Yuga comes, and the entire Kali Yuga ends, and the entire Pralay comes, and the whole, the creation gets distorted or destroyed, whatever you call it. उसके बाद भी क्या होगा? वापस सृष्टि बनेगा, तब अलग से भगवान को आके ब्राह्मण का ट्रेनिंग देने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगा. ब्राह्मणिकल सीड विल रिमेन, वैश्य सीड विल रिमेन, क्षत्रिय सीड विल रिमेन. Again there will be a set of asuras, and again there will be a set of suras. So this is going to be an eternal cycle, so don't have to worry. We have to follow what has been given by our acharyas. Catch the field, shelter. What is the nutshell of Ramayana? I've already told in the very first study. Only two things: Sharanagati and Dharma means righteousness. One should never at any given moment give up shelter of the Lord. And shelter means one should have 100% faith that Lord will protect me at all conditions. And mind you, that's enough. How long the Kali Yuga goes is immaterial. If we are able to do this devotion, a firm conviction that God is there to protect me and I am surrendered to Him, and follow the devotional process as given by the acharyas, it is sure for you to go back to his realm. Ramchandraji's realm is different to what Krishna's realm is. Krishna is in Goloka Vrindavan. There's another realm for Vishnu. If you're worshipping Vishnu, you go to Vaikuntha Loka. And here, when you're worshipping Ramchandraji, you go to Saket Dham. So the bottom line is, whether you go to Saket Dham, whether you go to Vaikuntha, whether you go to Goloka Vrindavan, wherever you go, at least you are getting out of this repeated cycle of birth and death. इस जन्म मृत्यु के चक्कर से आप बाहर निकलने का एक मौका है. भगवान ने एक छोटा सा एक तरीका दिया है. उस तरीका एक बहुत कम लोगों को ये चांस मिलता है. दुर्लभ है ये. It's very difficult to get this opportunity. Very few people get this opportunity. All of in today's date, so many people are running to office, coming from office, running, going home. They have to cook, take care of the family, children, this and that, office meetings, and a number of things are moving around. Today, we have earned a lot of money, but along with money, we have earned a lot of stress. But out of that, few have got a chance to attend this Ramayana Katha. A few have got a chance to attend this Ram Katha and get some spiritual benefit. And then read the Ramayana, take your devotional path seriously, chant your name to the Lord, just going back to God, going back to the spiritual realm is a cakewalk. It's easier than getting an admission in school or a job application fast. And mind you, and those things are temporary. This is forever, because Lord says, He's saying, once you come back to me, एक बार मेरे पास आ गए, आप वापस इस धरती पे नहीं जाओगे. So what else do you want? Confirmation given by God himself in the Gita. So it's better that we surrender and follow the righteous path, dharma. Follow dharma, and then just by following dharma and our true surrender, we can go back to God. Hare Krishna. Stop over here. We'll continue next week.